Hello, folks, and welcome to another exciting edition of PPR Esports. I am your host, Best Teon, joining you live from the East Coast of the United States. But tonight, I am taking you live to the Sakhir, the capital of Bahrain, for the Bahrain Grand Prix. It is Xbox Division 1, and I am so excited to bring you all the action tonight. I am joined tonight by LDR Redeemer. He's filling in for IB Na. IB Na will be back next week for the, I believe it's Shanghai, but tonight I'll have Redeemer by my side. We'll be giving you all the action for the duel in the desert. Let me run you through a couple things now to help get you filled in. Tonight's race will be at the Bahrain International Circuit. It's going to be about 29 laps to my knowledge. It's going to be 15 turns, 6 to the left and 9 to the right. There's 3 DRS detection zones, one between turns 15 and 1 along the pit straight, one between turns 3 and 4 in Sector 1, and of course the one after the treacherous turn 10 in Sector 2. Circuit length is 5.4 kilometers, about 3.3 miles, so a pretty standard Tilcadrome, and the lap record was set by the one and only Pedro de la Rosa in 2005 in the MP420. Little something for you all at home. Lots of controversy this week in the world of F1. Thought this was a pretty accurate joke about the one and only Lawrence Stroll. The FIA will be penalized a £400,000 fine. Lawrence Stroll, well, he laughs because that's pretty much a drop in the bucket for a billionaire. Curious to see what will happen with Racing Point, but we don't worry about that now because we're going to be going live to the circuit in just a moment. Redeemer, how are you doing tonight, my man? Welcome to the broadcast.
Doing all right. Well, glad to be here. I can't speak for some reason. Don't mind me, folks. But to correct you, it is Vietnam next week and not China. Shanghai is week 4 of the F1 calendar, if I am being correct this time. But interesting to see what we got here in D1. Looking for a great race and a great time. Glad to be here.
Wonderful, wonderful. And that's a great point. I totally forgot that we have Vietnam on the circuit now. You know,
it's gonna be a change for people. I guarantee you, some people are gonna be like, "Oh, we're gonna go to Shanghai next week," and they're gonna be like, "Surprised you're going to Vietnam." So, it's gonna be interesting to see on what people do, or on how people react to the circuit. I know we had our test race there and everything, but it's gonna be different when they have the race mentality and the focus that they need for the actual race in itself.
Yeah, and I will say, I don't know if you watched any of the preseason action, but Hanoi was a banger. That's a great-looking track, and it looks just about as much fun to watch as it is to drive. That Sector 3 looks punishing on the front tires, and it's kind of like Baku on steroids, if I'm choosing my words correctly. But we'll get to that next week. For the time being, let's take a look at D1 tonight. Got a couple cars out on lap. Redeemer, who is your pick for the evening to be on pole?
I'm going to have to say I haven't really watched these guys that often, but I'm going to have to put my money on either B-Dunk or someone like that. I know these guys have got some quick pace, so we'll have to wait and see, but I'm putting my money on B-Dunk. I know he's pretty quick driver, and he's got the pace around this circuit, so...
Not to mention the fact B-Dunk is he's a controller player, so really very much an alien, to quote PPR Nick. This is the no assist division, and doing that on a controller is pretty much next to impossible, in my opinion. But so we got one car in a flying lap here. This is TCP Coutinho, his first season in D1. He is in that Tracing Point pink Mercedes, looking very quick already on the soft compounded tire. Curious to go with the softs for your opening flying lap. Isn't the strat usually here medium hard, Redeemer?
You can do it one of two ways, but a medium soft or medium hard, excuse me, is the way to go. Also, but right behind TCP is also Weiser Square in the Williams on a hot lap on the softs as well.
Oh, really? I'm seeing on my screen Weiser Square's actually got the yellow stripe tire set.
No, on my end it says medium or softs.
Cody's.
Gotta love Cody. Cody's at its finest.
Folks, ignore the both of us. We'll just have to see how the times play out. Back on board with Coutinho though now. Obviously, first car setting a flying lap, so he's going to have the purple sectors. But let's see into the final turn here, dropping it down into third, short shift into fourth, getting that power down really smoothly, getting the gears up, getting the DRS nice and wide open. Let's see how we're going to do. Time to beat right now. That is a 126.7, 126.7. First car across the line. Behind him.
Weiser backed out of his lap halfway through it. I'm wondering if he had an issue or he just went wide, so he's going to have a slow lap.
Well, there you have it. That's a 133. Nothing to really write home about there. Funky Cactus, the rookie on an out lap. Botched Gerbil, though, 128. We got Chungus going, 127. Hot from the commentary booth. Good for him.
Peter coming around the last corner, see what he can put up here.
Let's see here.
And he's got a 25.8. Nicely done by B-Dunk.
Well, there you have it, folks. The defending champion already opening shots in that AlphaTauri. Looking quick. 125, definitely just about the delta you want to have around this circuit. Cal the GOAT, 126.3, though. Excellent time for the Ferrari driver. As you can just go ahead and look at the timing chart on the left, folks, you'll see there is not much separating these guys at the moment. Only a couple of tenths between second and fourth. Same thing from about fifth down till about ninth. So pretty even field at the moment. Bahrain, in my opinion, is definitely one of the better circuits of the year. It usually produces good racing. It seems to work really well with this with these regulations of cars. Redeemer, what are your experiences at Bahrain like?
It's one of those tracks where you gotta be focused. It's almost like Monaco, but it's not. As we go on board with Silk around the corner, that I like to call the curb of death, because no matter what you do, you touch the inside curb and your rear end of the car washes out, and there's a chance you can save it, there's a chance you can't save it.
I've had lots of experience flashbacking in career mode just at that very second.
He's coming around the final corner, going down the main straight now. See what he can do. He goes 7th fastest. Next across the line, I believe, would be Reimer, followed by Double OT.
Reimer in that Haas car, coming through the final sector here. Reimer, of course, he had a pretty solid showing to start the year last year, and he kind of tapered off in the second half. We didn't really hear much from him. Of course, Reimer does live in Manhattan, and our understanding was things did get a little touch and go there for a moment with the ongoing situation, but it's glad to see him back, glad to see him in good health. Reimer's going to go 129.7, 129.7. So B-Dunk really in a league of his own right now. Almost a full second clear, or I'd say about, let's say, 5 tenths clear of Cal the GOAT, and then Vosges only 3 tenths behind Cal. And Coutinho back into the pits
Weiser
now.
spun it.
Ooh, and he's retired from the session. Weiser Square has gone off, folks. Weiser Square has gone off. Let's see if we can't get the onboard of Silk Weaver here to see what happened.
It's really unfortunate because I just caught the tail end of that, and Groggy is out as well.
Wow, that's two cars off in a very short session here. On board now with Double OT. If you look to the left-hand side of the track, folks, yeah, that's Groggy in the barrier, folks. So AlphaTauri really splitting their strategies, to say the least. B-Dunk definitely optimal.
Coming out of turn 10, he's doing another lap. He invalidated his first. No, he's on a cooldown lap. I'm sorry. Double OT, though, he's coming out of turn 10. He's on a lap after slowing down off of it after his first one.
Going for the medium striped tire at the moment, according to my visuals. I'll go ahead and pull up the detail just to check. There you have it, folks. We've pulled up the tire graphics for you there. Looks like our top 7 drivers opting for the softest compound to start us here, with the only medium runners in the top 10 being Saxman and Chungus. Behind them, Mr. Reimer, Double OT on the mediums, but it seems as though everyone is opting for the red stripe tire. So a very fascinating start to qualifying here. I'm actually
Double OT goes 6th fastest with a 27.3
on 2 lap old mediums, no less. That's
which is interesting because I was watching the track map, and he had a purple sector 2 on the medium. So I don't know if that's true or if I'm just seeing things.
No, I'll concede that if you saw a purple sector, it probably was a purple sector. Double OT, though, is a very fast driver, so I would not put that past him to kind of push beyond the limits of whatever the tire delta may be.
I take that back. Cody was lying because B-Dunk has a 36.8. Double OT has a 37.5 in sector 2.
Wonderful. So you got the sector times. That's good. That's good.
Yep.
So there you have it, folks.
Beaton goes fastest again, unless that's a mistake that I'm
Though,
just seeing.
I will say, I don't know what the chance of a safety car really is at Bahrain. In at least in D4 last year, when you and I were exchanging, tire bumping, as it were. It seemed to me that there was,
blows.
there were plenty of safety car action in our division, at least. I'm not really sure what can happen in D1. It's either usually chaos into turn 1, or it's usually pretty clean. But it's soft tire. I guess you just gotta really hope for that maybe early safety car, get the free stop, and then go on to a hard tire.
So
maybe
with the softs, they primarily in their prime, they'll maybe do, I want to say, 8 laps before they get burnt out.
That's barely 1/10 of this race.
So they're, no matter what, and mediums, from my experience in racing here, mediums will do easily 13 laps, I want to say, before they start going downhill, and the hards can probably go a good solid 25 plus laps.
I've certainly pushed the harder compounds as far as I can, but folks, I'll go ahead and take you with a narration of a flying lap with Cal the Goat here, challenging for a pull into turn 1, braking right before the 50 board, going in a little deep, but that's not a problem. You want the exit speed into turns 2 and 3. Careful not to run too wide onto that outside curb. Get the power down, get the DRS open, and now you're flying through the first DRS zone now into the beginning of Sector 2. Here's the tricky left-right portion. Careful not to get too caught out. Medium braking zone there. Good to use all that track on the exit there on that right-hand curb into the hairpin. Dropping it down into second. Good not to go into first. You'll kill all your speed on the acceleration. Short shifting out. Let's see now. Turn 10 coming up. Caught many a good driver out. Hard on the brakes. Excellent chill brake there, folks. Get the DRS nice and open. Power down. He's going to probably hang to the right side of the track here. Look for that Esports line a lot of these guys like to use. There you have it. Into the uphill. Keeping it in fourth. Shifting well, nicely. Not running too far to the left or running too far inside to the right. That inside curb will spin you. That's a purple Sector 2. Well done. Oh, and he's just invalidated it over the inside curb. Unfortunately, I think that may have been a pole lap for Cal. We may never know. Redeemer, thoughts on that?
I was not watching. I was watching other people as Chungus goes P2 with the 26-2.
Well, there you have it. The banana boat really calling
And
it shot.
I'm going to throw this out there. I'm sorry if I bosh anyone's name, as I am new to commentating Xbox D1, as Funky Cactus goes purple Sector 1. It's obviously Cody's lying to me again. Well, I'm going to go on board with Funky, locks up into turn number 8 as he comes to turns 9 and 10 now, which is a very tricky downhill left-hander. You can lock up the inside left wheel very, very easily in this corner.
Let's see how he does into the uphill portion.
I have noticed into turn number 11, I've noticed a lot of people. I haven't really noticed the actual F1 drivers doing it. But if you run wide on the entrance to turn 11, taking the end, Funky invalidates that's a really tough corner.
After a purple Sector 2 as well.
Yeah, that's a really tough corner, so. But if you guys are tuning in, and remember, Funky and I used to race against one another in Xbox D4. Gonna miss racing against my pal. Then the same thing goes with Groggy Oregano 16.
You know, I just want to say, despite how our tier system is set up in PPR, I think it's a wonderful testament that guys from the lower divisions have made the jump up to D1, which is a pure no-assist league. And they're not just quick, but they are rather competitive with guys who have had years and years of experience with no assists. So I really do want to have a hat off to a lot of the moderators who help put all the races together, help keep things organized, and we can actually see very tangible progress among the crop of drivers here in this league. And big hats off to them and all the hard work they do.
Silk Weaver goes up to 9th with the 27-2, and I think Double OT is on a hot lap on the softs at the moment.
On board with him now, Double OT in that papaya car. Into the hairpin. Touch of a lockup on the inside, though. Nothing to really write home about there. Get the power down, short shifting well. Let's have an eye on how he does into turn 10. Good to break in a straight line there. You try to turn a little too early or get a little aggressive, you will just slide right past the apex. Taking that Esports line, of course, dropping 2 tires onto the sand into the uphill portion. Using all the track out to the right-hand side. He's taking a little shallower line there. Looking for speed on the exit, perhaps. That's a purple sector, too. Ooh, bit of a lockup. That could cost him dearly, though, now. Onto the final straight here. Kind of an up and down, left and right, side to side like a roller coaster. Right-hander now. Let's see. Good, using all that inside curb, getting the power down. DRS, wide open. And across the line, beautiful double OT going a 126.1, 126.1 for P3, folks. Your time to beat, though, is still B-Dunk with a 125.8. Coutinho, though, only 1/10 off with 125.9, 125.9. I got to ask, Redeemer, if you're going to start on the soft compounded tire, you're not really worried about tire saving. You're going to try to push as hard as you can in that opening stint and really try and gain as many positions. And then you can really start worrying about tire saving later on. Wouldn't you say so?
I mean, I would say so, but it also depends on if you're battling people. So this track is known for its tire wear and its ability to just eat tires.
F1 Shumi has left the session. Didn't even know he was here to begin with.
Whereas Bremer's left as well. I don't know what that is about.
You know, funny enough, I was doing some 5-lappers the other night, and there was a guy named Michael Schumacher in the lobby. That was just his gamer tag, Michael Schumacher, one word. So, don't know if Mick is moonlighting in his off days from F2 and trying to scare all the people on the internet. But keep an eye out for that, folks. You know, I know Lewis Hamilton's got a burner account that he plays Warzone on, as does a lot of the other F1 drivers.
As Cal the Goat is setting another lap right now. He's coming down the back straight towards the final corner.
A little early on the power there out of the final corner, but let's see. Across the line, Cal Goat's going to...
Third fastest, not bad.
Just pip double OT there by 1/10 of a second. So, excellent lap by the Ferrari driver in the SF1000. Definitely faster than the real SF1000, so it's good to see that.
His teammate goes 11th from 15th on the grid. Nicely done on him. Botched Gerbil has joined the session.
Both of our top 2 drivers on their outlaps right now.
Banana Boat went around at the hairpin. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Was that Radicus or Chungus?
It was Radicus. I just went on board with him, and he went around at the corner after where Groggy had died.
Ah, very unfortunate.
Retired.
For the Renault driver, let's hope he can... Unfortunately, he will not have time to set another flyer, so Radicus will stay P9, barring any late-breaking changes here. But, Redeemer, if you would like to do me the honors of going on board with B-Dunk, I'll stay with Coutinho here. Let's see who's going to get the banger in here in the final stage of this. Why don't you take us on board with B-Dunk right now and give us a little narration as he comes around the final corner here in a second.
Ooh, he's going to slow into the final corner. And Coutinho has left the session. Nope, not Coutinho. B-Dunk going down the main straight now. DRS wide open, fully powered down with that Honda-powered AlphaTauri. Breaks right around the 100-meter board, goes into turn 1, locks up the front right tire, up to third gear, coming out of turn 1. Going up the hill into turn 4, I believe, if I'm remembering that correctly. Making just before the curb on the outside. Nicely done in that corner, very nice. Now coming into the S's, very tricky chicane to get correct. Tackles that nicely, breaks into the hairpin, locks up the front tire again, ships up into third, minimizes the wheel spin, which I do recommend at this track. Locks both tires going into turn 10, that's going to cost him some time. Full power going down the back straight now. Goes into turn 11, taking the inside curb nicely, runs wide. See how he does up the hill. Stays away from the curb, nicely done. Doesn't invalidate, goes almost 2/10 faster. Full power going down the back straight now. We'll see what he can do crossing the line. See if he can't go a couple tenths quicker. Breaking into the final corner, locks up the front tire again. Full power down the back, final straight. DRS open, and he crosses the line with a 125.5. Nicely done by Beat-Up.
Well, let's see if Coutinho's got anything left in the tank to challenge here into the final corner. A bit of a lockup on the right-hand tire. Oh, a snap of oversteer. That might have been it, folks. 123, 124. Will it be enough? No, Coutinho cannot make the challenge, but the rookie, Funky Cactus, backing off at the end there. How about that? P2 for the Canadian driver, 125.7. A D4 graduate, putting it on the front row of a Grand Prix in D1. Redeemer, how good does that feel? It's almost like a secondhand front row start for us, it feels like.
It's almost like a beating. But no, very nicely done to B-Dunk and Funky. You know, I had to root for those guys and all the other drivers here in D1. It's going to be a close battle, so we'll have to see what happens. And look at that, Funky 0.2 of a second off of B-Dunk's lap.
Yeah, a very close lap, folks. I'll run you through the starting order real quick here. We got B-Dunk. He is your pole sitter. Behind him is Funky Cactus, Coutinho, Cal the Goat, Double OT, Vogue, Chungus, Unknown, Youth, Saxman, and Jaylee Bones. That rounds out your points-paying positions. In the choose your own adventure category, we have Radicus, Botch Gerbil, Toto Gaucho, Silk Weaver, Ed Torona, Mr. Rhymer, Wiser Square, and rounding out the back, unfortunately due to his retirement, is Groggy Oregano. So maybe we'll expect to see him start on a harder compound and look to go deeper into the first stint. But we'll take a short intermission here, folks, while we go to the starting grid in just a moment. Be back in just a sec. Folks, while our drivers load in here, I'll just take a second to give a quick sponsored message from us here at PPR Esports. If you're interested in joining our league, feel free to hit the Discord link in the description. We have leagues for F1 2020, Assetto Corsa Competizione, as well as an iRacing team. We are always looking for new members to join. No matter how fast you are, we are just looking to build a community and help share in the passion of motorsport. We race pretty much 6 days a week now. We've got F1 2020 on PC on Mondays. We've got Xbox on Tuesdays. We got PC again on Wednesdays. We now have a PS4 league running on Thursdays, as well as D4 on Fridays. On the weekends, you can catch the GT3 division running on Sundays, and look out for our car at any of the iRacing events happening around the world in your neighborhood. Here we are, folks, to the starting grid for the formation lap. Let's have a quick look at the cars as they get those tires warm. I got to ask, Redeemer, what's your call for turn one? What would be your strategy if maybe you're starting from that third or fourth row? Are you maybe thinking be conservative, try not to hit anyone, or are you going to send it up the inside into turn one?
I'd be conservative. If you're first through sixth, I'd be conservative of your tires and just don't do anything aggressive. But if you're you also got to be careful of those guys from 8th all the way back to Groggy, I want to say. But those guys you want to be on the lookout for, because there's no telling what those guys are going to be doing for the race.
No, that is an excellent point. I have been punted off many a times in 5-lappers, unranked lobbies. Big shout out to Big Mr. Brown. He and I are like magnets. We always seem to come together last year. We know all about turn one lap chaos. Lap one chaos, as it were. No matter the circuit, really. But Bahrain does present kind of a fascinating first braking zone. Some circuits really don't have that long of a straight. I will say it's maybe not as harrowing as the uphill right-hander at maybe Shanghai, but it always does present a challenge. Do you take the inside line because then you'll have a better line going into turn 2? Do you take the outside line because you'll have the inside for turn 2? I don't know. It's really, I think it really comes down to what happens in the moment. Pardon the network interruption, folks. I'm currently broadcasting from Miami, and, sometimes the internet here decides to go and have itself a little pity party out on the street. Oh, a little contact there on the formation lap. It would seem, and we're back. Clean up that satellite signal for you all. Don't worry, this is not F1 TV. We are not going to bottom out on you right at the start of the race. We'll be here to bring you all the action live from the track. This is PPR Esports Xbox Division 1. I'm your host, Best Teo, joined by LDR Redeemer. Let's get to the action now. Just waiting for the lights now, folks. Give us just a moment. How are things looking on your screen, Redeemer? You getting any start lights?
No, I think the lobby's glitched. We had this issue earlier tonight as D2 and D3 drivers both have experienced.
Well, folks, in the meantime, as we wait for the Codemasters to spin their tires here, no pun intended, and get things underway, do be sure to check out any of our replays. We have a full archive you can check out for free, youtube.com/PPR Esports. We got tons of F1 action you can always check out. In the meantime, though, I'll be eagerly awaiting a ping from the broadcast team here while we sort this through. And we'll just take a brief intermission, folks. We'll be back in just 1 second. All right, folks, and we are now back live here from the Bahrain International Circuit. We are just loading in, and we'll be live on the grid in a moment. Sorry about the brief interruption there. Not to poke fun at Codemasters, but that is just what we've come to expect. Anyway, Redeemer, welcome back. How are you feeling, my man?
A little bit tired, but I think we'll pull through this 45 minutes of this race.
Oh, I am sure all the heart-pumping action we have in store will get you out of your chair and pumping your fist in the air and kicking over chairs and screaming about the tires in no time. We got a great front row. We got the rookie versus the champ. We've got behind them, we've got Coutinho, who's kind of like the fresh face on the grid. Very excited to see what he can do. I know he's fast, and I know he can always promise us a lot of great wheel-to-wheel action. Looking down the rest of the grid, the Renault team, Chungus and Radicus, both very, very strong, consistent drivers that we can always expect a great show from. Saxman, last year he was consistently in the top 5 there. Who else you got on the tip of your tongue?
Groggy. Hey, we got a predicted pit stop strategy. That's the first time I've seen that.
Yes, folks. The predicted tire strategy brought to you by Amazon Web Services. Please sponsor us.
We're missing a driver.
Yes, unfortunately, I think an executive decision was made. We waited about 4 or 5 minutes there, and I do believe that the call was made to go ahead. Unfortunately, we do not have all night. I know there are some folks commuting from across the pond, so they would like to probably get this underway and go to bed.
Yes, exactly. I mean, I would feel the pain if I was over there for those guys, it being 3 o'clock, I want to say.
Just about, yeah.
Yeah,
and
just after 3 o'clock, yeah. So,
I
probably want to get to bed and get some shut before they have to go to work tomorrow, so...
It is certainly...
But it's interesting to see if you go... I don't mean to cut you off, I'm sorry.
No,
but if you go from 11th through to Groggy, there's only 2 drivers that are starting on the hards, and that's Silk and Reimer on the hards. Everyone else is on the mediums, except for J. Lee Bowens up to B-Dunk, which obviously they have to be on the softs per F1 rules.
Yeah,
so,
I
would be surprised if you don't see Reimer and Silk doing a one-stop medium or hard to medium. And then all the other medium runners, medium to hards, and then the soft runners are going to have to either do a 2-stop like the strategy showed us, or they do the 1-stop soft to hards, which, yes, it could save you time, but it's still, your hards will be lucky if they have any pace in them at the end of the race.
We will just have to see then. My estimates is that there will be a safety car because this is a league race. So if you're on the optimal strategy when that hits and you can get the fresher rubber on, I do expect to see plenty of good, hard wheel-to-wheel action. But folks, again, welcome back. This is Xbox Division 1, live from the Bahrain International Circuit. I'm your host, Besteon, joined by LDR Redeemer, ready to bring you 29 laps of wheel-to-wheel, heart-pumping action here for the duel in the desert.
As we wait, we got lights on. Here we go. Our lights, and
it's lights out, and we are underway, folks. Good getaway for B-Dunk there. Funky giving a good cover now to his teammate. Oh, we got a car to the barrier. That's the pink Mercedes into the McLaren, into the Ferrari. First lap pile up here. Oh, my goodness. J. Lee Bowens and Ed Torona out of the race. Someone spun their tires way too hard. That should be an automatic VSC or full safety car. Coutinho getting a 5-second penalty for a collision with Funky Cactus. Already we have controversy starting in this race. Full course yellows. I would not be surprised. These drivers are going extra slow at the moment, it would seem. Redeemer, can you see on your screen if we got ourselves a safety car, or are we under racing conditions?
No, when we were going up the hill to turn 4, I did see the safety car coming out of the pits in the background.
There you have it, folks. There you have it, folks. A first lap safety car. There's already penalties. There is damage. There are 3. There was looks like 2 cars completely blown to bits on the pit straight. Jaylee Bowens, the sophomore, getting into a lot of trouble there with Ed Torona in the McLaren. Folks, by the way, there is your predicted pit stop strategy brought to you by Amazon Web Services. Medium hard, soft, medium, medium for a taste of your strategy, perhaps, if you're feeling like pushing on this Pirelli rubber. But early safety car, Redeemer, what do you think? Early into the pits or stick with the strategy you're on?
It's a tough call because it's the first lap. So your best bet is probably to stay out there. These guys are obviously on fresh rubber, so if we didn't have to restart the lobby, I would obviously say pit and put on a set of hards, and then you could go from meat and softs at the end. But since these guys all have on new rubber, unless they need a wing change, which I'm not seeing anybody as Saxman jumps to P2, even though that is completely not correct because he is in the midfield.
Yeah, ignore that, folks. Codemasters had a little bit of the devil's lettuce today when they woke up, it would seem. But regardless, looking on the rest of the field, it seems to me the top order is looking pretty standard. All the chaos happened much farther back. I will pop in to the Nick. We have a PPR Nick in the chat saying to pit for hards and go to the end with a dab emoji. So, well, it's a bold move, Cotton. We'll have to see about that one.
Well, like you were saying before, but when you asked me, as I now see the predicted pit stop strategy, before we went to our intermission, what your strategy was into turn one, like I was saying, if you're first through six, you got to be nice and steady. And then the guys in the back, you got to be also calm. First lap, turn one, it's obvious going to be a doozy, and you don't know what's going to happen, as we saw with Jay Lee and Ed.
Well, as the old saying goes, you definitely can't win the race in the first lap, but you can certainly lose it. And we have breaking news from the pit lane. I'm getting word here in my ear, in the chat on the Discord. Jaylee Bowens has said himself, "I'm thinking that Saxman tapped my left rear and spun me, but I got to take a look. I have clipped it." So there is an interesting bit of controversy for you all this evening. Saxman there in that black Mercedes could be facing a penalty later on after this race if the stewards do decide to take a look at that. So interesting stuff. It's entirely possible that maybe Jay Lee was a little slow and Saxman didn't react to it and just ended up spinning him around. Or
Saxman was throwing the dummy saying he was going to pit, but he didn't.
Interesting tactics. Maybe he's trying to fake out his teammate.
Typical Mercedes move, if I say so myself. But sorry to all Mercedes fans out there that may be watching, but that is a typical Mercedes move.
Well, it's Mercedes at Bahrain. They do tend to bang wheels every now and again.
As we have watched that from 2014, I believe, if I'm correct, between Hamilton and Rosberg.
Yeah, you can pretty much say 2014 through 2016 was pretty much a Mercedes scrap heap every single time those two went out on the circuit.
I will say this though, seeing the two Mercedes again. Sorry for all the Mercedes fans that are watching or listening. Spain 2016, when they took each other out, I smiled from ear to ear when I saw that. I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. There's no way this is possible. Am I dreaming? And I pinched myself. I'm like, I'm definitely not dreaming.
I do have to say, funny how they say, like the butterfly effect happens. Two Mercedes in Barcelona crash, and the legend of Max Verstappen is born the same day. So maybe, it's not all bad. I do look forward. Speaking of Barcelona, we will be there this week in the real-life Formula One. I'm very much looking forward to this race because, guess what, Redeemer? High temperatures. They are saying high temperatures. And what does that spell disaster? For who? For one particular team. Exactly. So I am crossing my fingers. I am rubbing my rabbit's foot. I'm knocking.
Dotting your eyes.
Yeah.
Doing all the good stuff.
Throwing salt over my shoulder, you name it. If we can get some kind of mix-up to the order and maybe see Max mount some kind of title challenge down the stretch here, that would make for probably one of the tastiest seasons in recent memory, especially one where Merck has been out in front by a wide margin for the most of it.
Yes, as now we see the safety car is gone, waiting for B-Dunk to put the pedal down. Is he going? Funky Cactus gets a good start as well.
All right, folks, and green
ECP
flags
does
here.
not. He's also, as he's under threat from Cal the Goat.
Green flags are now in Bahrain. That's up the inside. Cal the Goat going late on the brakes here to get past Coutinho. Coutinho not getting any temperature into those tires or any momentum, but he's taking the position back through turn 2. Excellent move by the Racing Point driver. Cal the Goat going to try and come back up here. He's going to look up the inside. Is he going to late on the brakes? No, he's going to tuck back in. Coutinho doing well to reclaim P3. But the fight, folks, that everyone's going to be watching is Funky Cactus, only 6/10 back on B-Dunk, our championship defender. Cal the Goat closing in hot, looking down the rest of the field. We got a close battle here, a little 4-car train from about Double OT down to Saxman with Unknown Youth hot on his tail. The soft runners definitely want to get a move on here, looking to build some kind of a gap on those medium runners. But as we head into Sector 2, it's B-Dunk leading Funky Cactus, leading Coutinho, leading Cal the Goat, leading Double OT. Those are your top 5. Behind them, it is Voj, Chungus, Saxman, Unknown Youth, Radicus. In your non-points paying positions, it is Botch, Gerbil, Groggy, Regano. Groggy doing well to get out of that last place position. Up to P12 now. Reimer, Silkweaver. Bringing up the rear is Toto Gaucho. He did have that first lap contact with Jaylee Bowens and Ed Torona, unfortunately. And those are our 2 retirements. But I got more yellow flags in the background, it would seem.
I am thinking there's another safety car. I did not get the message on my screen, but pulled up my track map, and the safety car is sitting on the second straight.
Well, there you have it, folks. Another safety car. Not sure what for, but
I'm thinking Toto had spun. I didn't catch it, but he spun, and he is missing his whole right wing.
Okay, so we got Mercedes into the pits, Renault into the pits, and we got Coutinho going for the early stop. He is going to serve his 5-second penalty now under the safety car. That is a very, very smart strategy by him. Get that out of the way. He's going to be setting on. Let's see which tires he has opted for here in just a minute, folks. Coutinho has gone to the yellow stripe mediums. He's going to look to make those work for him under this safety car. The front runners are going to stay on those softs, stick to their strategy. It's B-Dunk leading Cactus, leading Cal, leading Double OT, leading Voj. And everyone else is on mediums. Toto Gaucho, interestingly, has opted for the softs here to try and maybe make up some time to Unknown Youth and go for some overtaking before he will inevitably have to pit by about maybe lap 12, lap 15, depending on how well he takes care of it. But another safety car, folks. Sorry to say that. We'd love to get the action underway here. Redeemer, 2 safety cars in a row. We got some pit action here. If you're one of those soft runners now, what is your priority? Is it overtaking? Is it just holding station, trying to stay in the slipstream and the DRS of the car in front? What do you think?
It's tough, but I would have to say staying in the slipstream. Because the more you battle, the more you're going to wear your tires out. And the more you wear your tires out, as everyone knows, you start getting blistering and you start losing grip in your tires. So just stay in the slipstream and just don't take any chances that you know it's not going to, where you know it's not going to work. I'm sorry, folks, for the communication skills that I have, which is minimal.
Don't you worry, buddy. You're doing just fine. But yes, you're absolutely right, Redeemer. There is always the old trick. Don't fight me. We've got the big picture to worry about. Let's get on with the driving. Let's worry about that later. Though I am the type of driver where, as I'm sure you're aware, I do like to fight, especially if someone's trying to overtake me. I'm very much a Kevin Magnussen type. Maybe not to the point where I'm making the hairs on your neck stand up, but I do not like letting people by if I can avoid it.
As I have known that firsthand, racing you multiple different times.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it has cost me in the long run. But that's what racing is. It's a lot of split-second decisions made in very, very, very minimal windows, and you just kind of got to rock with it, stick to what you know, stick with your gut, and get on with the driving, as it were. But folks, thanks again for joining us. I am Besteon, joined by LDR Redeemer. This is Xbox Division 1. And we got ourselves a second safety car early in the race. So, perhaps a bit of a commentator's curse when I said chance of a safety car. Well, it has come true. We've got 2 retirements already. We've got a mix-up of the strategy already. I really like the look of Chungus, Saxman, and Coutinho on those harder compounded tires. They could really spice things up at the end of this race. Wouldn't you say so?
Yes. But also, like I said, since they pitted very early, they're going to have to manage those tires, especially Saxman. You know, he's going to have to manage the tires and make sure that he can get them to the end without burning them up.
And
But also, I would like to point this out. Groggy Oregano has moved up 9 places since the start of this race. He is now in 8th place, so good on Groggy.
a great point to make, and definitely big shout out to our boy Groggy. But yeah, this track's a bit of a cheese grater, and these tires are a bit like Parmesan, and you're kind of sprinkling it all over your bolognese at the moment. Luckily, the safety car will give you a bit of a reprieve. You're not putting as much load in the rubber at the current moment. I do have to compliment, despite the multiplayer issues, I would like to point out the handling model in this game I feel is superior to 2019. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Every game is a new step. So you got to learn on how the fundamentals work in each game. So I don't know if anyone watching has played 2018, but 2018 running for me medium traction control felt like no traction control. In 2019 they changed that. And then here in 2020 I don't know what it feels like, and we got a 3-wide battle going down the front straight into turn 1 as Cal the Goat's going to send it down the inside of Funky.
He's just, yeah, I was going to say, good move on him to back out of that. Funky's going to run a little deep, and that's going to cost him a lot of time to B-Dunk ahead. B-Dunk just trying to stay in clear air.
Some more yellows. There's Radicus around. I'm sorry. Oh!
Whoa, big pile up there. That looks to be the racing point of Coutinho. He's out of the race. Radicus with no damage, but that is Coutinho who had put it in the second row. He will not be happy about that. My goodness.
I did not catch what had happened. I had jumped on board with Radicus, and I saw Coutinho just coming in out of nowhere. I'm wondering if he got a lot of wheel spin at the back and just lost the rear, and he couldn't stop it.
Well, I'm not seeing any yellow flags, and our drivers have not backed off at the moment. So we'll continue with the racing, folks. That's Reimer moving up position
another
there.
Safety car, I believe, coming out of the pits now.
Oh, yep, I was going to say so. Okay, let's keep an eye on the lead here.
I do believe Unknown Noob, if I'm pronouncing that right, has
Unknown Youth. Unknown Youth. That was his prerogative to me. Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. But I believe he does have left end plate damage, so he's going to be hurting around some of these corners. I believe he ran into the back of Chungus.
That would make sense. It was a bit of a melee back there, but let's see who's going to dive into the pits now. This is a free stop. B-Dunk's heading in.
Funky's heading in.
No surprise.
Cal the Goat is staying out. OT is in.
Vo just stayed out. Botch Gerbil's out. Weaver heading in. Let's see. Toto Gaucho has opted to stay out. But there you have it, folks. And Funky will come out just behind B-Dunk. So, despite what the lap chart on the left may say, this is kind of for all intents and purposes, the battle for the lead between the Alpha and the Alpha Tower. Oh my God, that is so annoying. Between the Toro Rosso and the Alfa Romeo.
Start talking about it, Alpha. Which wide? There's 2.
Oh, I know. Poor Crofty. I hear him on the broadcast. He's doing his best.
He is. It still took him a few years to get used to calling Force India Racing Point. And every now and then, if you guys pay attention, he does still say Force India, but I'm giving those guys credits for doing their best of what they can.
I do believe you're saying it wrong, Redeemer. It is Sahara Force India Sport Pacer Racing Point Aston Martin Formula One team. Sorry.
Yes, the biggest name for F1.
Jokes aside, folks, quick recap of things as we pick up the pieces from yet another car. Oh, and by the way, if you're keeping score at home on your bingo cards, that is a double DNF there, folks, for Tracing Point. Very unfortunate for the Canadian team. They will be having a very, very tense debrief, to say the least. So, with that said, here's your order, running it through one more time. Cal the Goat in the lead, followed by Vogue, Botch Gerbil, Silk Weaver, Saxman, Toto Gaucho, B-Dunk, Funky Cactus, Double OT, and Groggy Oregano. Behind them, it'll be Reimer, Chungus, Unknown Youth, And bringing up the rear, it is Radicus on a fresh set of soft tires. So looks like we've got Reimer and Radicus opting for a more aggressive approach in this third safety car period, while Chungus, Youth, pardon me, folks, Groggy, Oregano, Double OT, all going for a harder compounded tire. All the while, B-Dunk and Funky will probably look to go to the end on those white striped tires. I don't expect to see them fighting much down the stretch. They'll probably just want to stay in the slipstream for the remainder of this race. Redeemer, looking at the our chart here on the left with all the different tire compounds and strategies going on, who do you think who's maybe not at the top of the field or maybe not in people's minds? Who do you think is kind of a dark horse contender here in the second half of this race?
I'm probably going to keep my eye on Saxman. You know, he's 3 laps in on those hards with another safety car. So I think he's going to be one to watch. But also, you got Toto in the other Ferrari. He's also pitted, and he's on 3-lap old softs. So he's going to have to definitely make another pit stop, presumably for the hards, or go for another medium run.
Medium run. He'd have to put in some pretty blistering times at any rate.
As Funky Cactus is past Double OT under safety car. Don't know what that is about.
I do think he'll give that back. To quote Lewis Hamilton at Brazil 2019, I got cars racing here. Look at them as they weave around to get their tires warm. Of course, so important. You don't warm your tires properly under the safety car, you end up putting people in the barrier like myself. Definitely always make sure to keep temperature in your tires. Kids, if you're watching at home, weave those tires, keep them warm. They will treat you well.
So this is an interesting strategy call. Radicus and Reimer both pitted for softs. And Reimer was on the hard, so I'm assuming he got wing damage and had to pit.
It is an interesting strategy. I guess I suppose if you just need to make up positions, you know, get some track position back under your belt, that would be the way to go. Though I don't really see another safety car happening after this one. I mean, this is 3 in a row. What's the limit, 5?
I believe so, yes.
So, and that's including virtuals, though we haven't seen any of that yet. But
as Caligoat gets a nice run, he started in the middle of the back straight, watching the midfield. Groggy got the overtake done on Silk, but he's going to fight back on the inside. Oh, you got hit from Chungus in the back. That's not good. Chungus goes by. There's no damage there, I believe, as we have Unknown Youth and Silk Weaver. Never mind, I take that back. Radicus now going by Silk Weaver on the outside. Nicely done there. Now we have Reimer right behind Silk.
On board with Reimer now. Ooh, almost into the back of Weaver. It is very tight at the back of the field here at the moment. Though I'm going to head on up the intervals just a touch here. Interesting, tasty battle here. Like you said, Toto Gaucho on those soft tires. He looks to have the pace, but he really can't seem to get the move done on Saxman. Let's see how he fares into the uphill portion here now. Definitely on a aggressive strategy at the moment, so he will need to really put in some blistering times, get the positions done. Oh, both drivers with big lockups there. Can't say I wish that for Saxman on those hard compound tires. He's going to want to save that rubber, not be scrubbing it off every chance he gets.
I will say this for B-Dunk. Being on the hards, he's able to keep up with Toto as they both lock up into the final corner. But B-Dunk keeping up with Toto on the hards.
All right.
As I run through the field here, looking for any close battles.
Into turn 1, it's getting real tight. Saxman trying to get a good run done. Botch Gerbil getting a horrible run out of turn 2. Let's see. It's, oh my God, they're side by side. It's going to be a drag race into turn 4. SM Mercedes versus a Haas. Let's see. Late on the brakes. Beautiful move. That is Saxman up to P3. Botch Gerbil P4. Toto Gaucho still struggling to get past either of these guys. Great little 3-car train forming here in the middle section. Keep an eye out on these guys to make some noise later in the race. B-Dunk and Funky doing well to stay out of each other's hair and just get on with their day. Into turn 10 now. Let's see. Will Toto be nice and late on the brakes? Yes, he's got the grip. Oh, but it's a big lockup. Can he get the slipstream now? Get the overtake button on? Yeah, he's got it. Turn that engine all the way up into the uphill portion. Everyone taking that nice wide entry into the uphill turn. Saxman, that was a beautiful overtake. I got to say, Gerbil really got that all wrong in the first sector now. Cal the Goat comfortably in first, but he will probably have to lap sometime soon. B-Dub getting past Toto Gaucho. Funky Cactus now going to try and get past the Ferrari as well. Wouldn't be surprised if he gets it done here on the pit straight. Everyone locking up hard into the final corner. Gaucho, oh, he's getting a real slow run. Cactus almost into the back of him. Great reactions by the Alfa Romeo driver.
Double OT going to make it 3 wide, going down the front straightaway. Going 2 wide. Well, he brakes way late. Almost runs in the back of B-Dub.
Yeah, he's overcooked that. He is very deep into the corner, but seems to me he's got them done. Funky Cactus is slipping down the order here. He's going to need to really get the power down here and try to make up for that. B-Dunk now has got a nice two-car cushion between him and his nearest rival. Behind
Radicus spins and he gets collected by Reimer. No damage done.
Ooh, Reimer though with an end plate damage there on the right side. That will probably send him into the pits yet again. Very unfortunate for the Haas driver.
Gerbil's around.
Ooh, yep. Well, it looks like he's kept it out of the barrier there. No damage quite yet. Radicus will be creeping up on the back of now, back on board with our leader, the Cal to go, 11 lap old softs. He's got to be thinking about a pit stop soon. 12, let's see, he pits lap 13, 14. I'd say that's about a very long medium stint.
Turn 11 on Groggy.
Is that youth up there? Okay.
Gets past him. Nicely done. Groggy going to fight him back going into turn number 13, I believe. This one is. Oh, locked up both tires. These guys are locking up. I've seen a lot of it too. Like you were saying, they're locking up. They want to save the rubber, not wear it all off.
You could almost argue that the restarts got everyone kind of all jacked up. You know, that adrenaline doesn't really leave you, and you kind of have to like get back into that mindset of pushing. So let's see what Groggy can do here on Unknown News. He's got the overtake on, just turned it off. Probably not having a look. Definitely too far back. Looking on the upper end of the order, though, Funky's got the DRS here on Double OT, trying to catch up to him. Double OT on that hard tire as well on the optimal strategy. Toto Gaucho really kind of being the cork in the bottle at the moment from those guys catching up to B-Dunk. Cal the Go and Vogue still really extending those stints on the softs for Deemer. What do you think about Cal and Vogue? Oh, Cactus, he's out! He's out! He is in the barrier! Oh, no, that is tragic. My goodness, what has happened to him? Another one bites the dust, folks. The rookie is...
And I believe that is a VSC. Unfortunately, I do not have any...
Yeah, neither do I. I have no such notifications either. I guess we can look at their dashboard, but my resolution is not high enough.
No, I have the track map on, and it's a full course yellow, but I'm assuming it's a VSC, if I can see a forward. Yep, it is a VSC, folks. As this could really help Vogue and Cal the Goat, so they could pit and get a fresh pit stop out of this and not be that far back in the field.
Yeah, there you go. Cal and Vogue really making the strategy work for them.
Saxman now takes P1. Yeah, I told, like you were saying.
And look, and there's your pit window. That is a hard tire pit. No sweat. I jinxed the crap out of this one.
And Toto now into the pits as well. The Ferrari driver serving a penalty. Nope, putting on the hard tires, going to the end. As Reimer stayed out with his wing damage.
Ooh. I'm seeing...
folks.
So I'm seeing in the chat, Coutinho had lag. And he got a 5-second penalty for tapping Funky at turn 1. And now it looks like Double OT may have been the reason for that crash for Funky Cactus. So more controversy brewing. I do not expect the stewards to have themselves a quiet week at all. And I do believe you are one of the stewards. Isn't that right?
That is correct. But we will wait and see on what happens with the clips that we have to go through. But on board now with Unknown chasing down Chungus. They both on 5-lap-old hards.
You know,
Closest battle on track, I believe, other than Radicus chasing down Cal the Goat as Groggy gets past Reimer. I did not see that, folks. I am sorry.
you know, I got to say, Redeemer, even though... Oh, that's the McLaren! Oh, my God, what is happening? Double OT's completely lost it out of the uphill portion. He was sliding around, building sandcastles with his tires. That is not what you want, folks, if you're trying to chase down the leader. B-Dunk really just minding his business. Now he's up to P2. It's up to him now to chase down Saxman. Double OT is going to go into the pits. No surprise there.
Reimer going down the pit straight, going past Groggy. Nicely done on the inside. Gets it done in before turn 1. Oh, he locks up. He went deep. That's not good. Groggy gets the position back and be fighting up into turn number 4 now.
Yeah, but Groggy's going to have the DRS because he passed him before the detection point. So, Groggy got to be laughing to himself. I don't know if but he's locked up himself. I don't know if you saw, but Groggy completely backed off the brake pedal well before Reimer did. I think he knew exactly where he had to brake, and unfortunately for Reimer, he has come off worse in that one. Cal the Goat on those fresh hards.
Unknown is up into P3 at the moment, so both Mercedes are P1 and P2.
Oh, don't say that.
Well, commentators curse. Gotta throw that out there before anything happens.
Wow, 2 Mercedes in the top 3. Oh my God! No, I'm kidding. I don't. This is really Hamilton and Valtteri. I wouldn't do that.
It is weird. You got an AlphaTauri in P2. They've never seen before.
I was gonna say that's a sight to behold in its own.
Unless you flash back to Germany 2019, where Kvyat was P2 at one point until Sebastian Vettel overtook him for P2.
Man, we were denied probably one of the craziest podiums ever. Been Verstappen, was going to be Verstappen, Stroll, and Kvyat almost.
Yep. No, it was going to be Verstappen, Kvyat, and then Stroll. You had the right order, just backwards, as we have Reimer going past Groggy again. Reimer gets past him, but Groggy's going to get the detection for DRS Zone 1, technically, as they call it.
Let's see how it goes, folks, on board with Groggy and Reagan now. Reimer, he's lost it! He's completely lost it! Oh, my goodness! Reimer! Wow, yeah, he really did well to keep that one out of the wall, but, I mean, whether or not he kept it out of the wall, that just did huge damage to his race. It grinded the rubber on those soft tires. He will probably go in for the stop here, I'd say. Get on those mediums and just try to make it to the end now. Vosge getting the move done on Reimer. Reimer's all over the circuit. Those tires are lit up like Christmas trees at the moment. Got to get those temps down, buddy. You do not want to be on hot tires in the Bahrain desert in the middle of the night. It's a bit like driving your car on an ice slick. Wouldn't you say so?
Absolutely. As Double OT, I believe he didn't stop to change his tires. Unless he had a drive-through penalty. I'm sorry, folks. I am not seeing any warnings or penalties come up in the bottom left-hand side of my screen for penalties, failure, safety cars, or VSCs that we may have. So I'm assuming he had a drive-through penalty because he didn't change tires.
Redeemer, if you would do me a favor, can you check Race Director for me and tell me what it says? We might even see some 3-second penalties in there, so there might be a story here that we might not be fully aware of at the moment.
Top 3 do not have any warnings at all. Chungus has 2 warnings. Groggy has 1 warning. Cal the Goat has no warnings. As Radicus has 3 warnings and a penalty, and that is it for the time being. Vosge has 2 warnings. Reimer, 1 warning.
Groggy
Toto, 1 warning.
Really struggling at the moment, by the way. I'm on board with Cal the Goat. Groggy really very much under pressure from Cal the Goat, and he's not doing well to stay composed. He's taking weird lines. He's weaving. He's locking the rear tires. And now, here we go, Cal the Goat getting the run on him into the uphill portion. He's got the inside line into the left-hander. Let's see, can he hold it? Yes, he's got that move done. Let's see how he does into the right-hander now. Groggy's going to try to come back at him. These drivers both on very similar tires. Groggy's only slightly older. Steady, steady, steady into the exit. Oh, but Cal the Goat is already pulling away. Groggy's going to want to put the overtake on here. But from what I can see, his battery is very depleted on his dashboard. So he may want to wait a few laps here and just stay in that slipstream.
So interesting enough, I checked the race directory and it popped up as double OT with 10 seconds of penalties, and Silk Weaver 5 seconds for speeding under the safety car.
Ah, well, that might be an appeal on that one. I don't know if you saw what happened during the PC race, but some people were getting penalties for speeding under the...
As double OT goes around the outside of Toto, gonna make it stick? No, he doesn't. They're gonna fight up the hill, still side by side, going up into turn 4 as Toto has the DRS.
And the overtake on. Let's see, Toto's gonna probably get that move done. A little earlier on the brakes, he's gonna try to force double OT wide. And I think he's just about done it. Let's see. Toto's leaving him plenty of room now into the S's. Oh, and he's going to stick it around. Oh, my goodness, folks. This is a close battle, wheel to wheel now. Up the inside. Toto's going to send it. Big lockup double OT covering off the Ferrari driver. It is cojones to the wall here, folks. Through Sector 2 now. Into Turn 10. Toto's going to have the DRS. Let's see if he can't get something done here. Power down, overtake on for just a minute to help with the traction out of the corner. I bet he'll close up to him into Sector 1. It is really starting to kick off at some points in this race. Despite the field spread, it seems to me everyone's traveling 2x2s. Wouldn't you say so?
Yeah, it's like a NASCAR mentality. You know, travel in pairs, get the draft off one another. But I'm looking at Voj coming on the final corner, chasing down Groggy for P6. And he's not going to get the move done into turn 1.
Oh, but he's
going down
he's
the
licked the
inside.
stamp! Wow, what a late break. That would have been a brilliant move. He had pulled it off, but it was just not enough at the moment. Toto doing his darndest to try and catch up to double OT without overtake, but it's not going to be enough. Voj almost off the track. He was off the track. Oh, he's gone so deep. That was almost a very brilliant move again by the Red Bull driver. Really doing his best Daniel Ricciardo impression. Unfortunately, not enough. Groggy lives to fight another day here. Voj going to want to cool those tires down, get back into a rhythm, and try to come back at the AlphaTauri driver.
As I just noticed, Radicus pitted for medium, so I believe he is good to the end.
Yes. Yeah, for sure at this stage, because you said it yourself, softs are about 9 laps at their latest. So this is definitely within the window for mediums. Toto's closed up really well to double OT. Double OT, though he's done well to maintain this gap really well at about 6/10. So we'll see if he maybe can close up now. Uphill portion one more time. That Ferrari is looking quite pacey around here, though. So we'll just have to see how this is all going to pan out in the closing stages. Voj, Lucy has got the move done on Groggy. After all, will those tires get nice and chilled out? Maybe threw a couple ice packs on them. Oh, but he's into the faking of pit stop. Groggy, you got to tuck into the slipstream, brother. Come on. Voj sticking to the middle of the circuit. He's going to try and force Groggy around the outside, but Groggy's to switch back to the inside, go late on the brakes. No, he's just going to just back out of that one and let Voj take the racing line. Double OT.
Slowly and surely, as we have been watching the midfield, B-Dunk has been catching Sexman.
Very much a battle for the lead. Double OT into the pits again. He's going on the soft tires. I guess he's got a bit of a free stop because Weaver and Reimer are so far behind. But, folks, I hate to take us away from a lot of our scintillating midfield battles. We're on board now with B-Dunk. This is the fight for the lead. Of course, you know company policy. If it's a fight for the lead, that is what we shall focus on. B-Dunk here, 11-lap-old hard. Saxman, 14-lap-old hards. 20 laps into this Grand Prix. 9 laps to go. Bit of a lockup there on the front right. B-Dunk really just trying to get the power down. That battery looks very depleted. Same thing with Saxman. Both drivers really expelling their energy quite a bit early in this race. Touch of a lockup there for B-Dunk. Redeemer, I know there's not really much to the strategy. If you're B-Dunk, it's pretty much overtake or die at this stage. Wouldn't you say so?
Exactly. I don't know who won the race last week, but if you're B-Dunk, you would try to go for the move.
Into turn 2 now. Both drivers good to get the power down without spinning the wheels. Good short shift there. B-Dunk doing his darndest. That battery is looking about as dead as a double A's in my Xbox controller. Oh, touch of a lockup on the right. Really struggling in that slipstream of Saxman. That dirty air really throwing off his rhythm. Into the hairpin now. Another big lockup on the front right. I'm very surprised by the amount of locking that is happening here tonight. I guess it is Bahrain. It is kind of a treacherous track on itself. Ooh, both drivers scrubbing rubber. DRS, though, let's see here, folks. Is it enough? Bino's going to look up the inside. Nothing quite happening there. Saxman still maintaining his lead in the black Mercedes. The black arrow, as it were, into the uphill portion. Gap still about 4/10-ish. Both drivers really struggling to keep the grip levels where they want them. Tell me, Redeemer, is there anything happening down the midfield stretch that I should be keeping my eye on as well?
I was watching Double OT, and he made a very nice move around the outside of Reimer on his new softs going to the end of this race.
Oh, but here we go. Up the inside. Is this the move for the lead? B-Dunk, get the DRS. Late on the brakes. Oh, and it's going to be wheel to wheel now into turn 2 as he left the Mercedes plenty of space. Yes, they're side by side now. It's going to be a drag race. B-Dunk will not have a DRS into turn 3. He's going to go very defensive now. The Mercedes, oh, and they bumped wheels. Oh, wow, Saxman really, really showing him who's in charge here tonight. My goodness, it is claws out for first place here, folks. Saxman doing everything he can, throwing the whole kitchen sink at B-Dunk. I think Saxman wants to put it out there that he is very much in this title fight and that he wants to take it to AlphaTauri. Wow. Crazy stuff in the first sector there. Redeemer, if you're B-Dunk, how do you keep your composure after an incident like that?
I wouldn't be too happy, but it's racing and it's going to happen. But if I was B-Dunk, I would back off, save the ERS a little bit, and then try to go for the attack later on in the race or later on in the stages. But it only has to be said, he has, I believe, 9 laps left of this GP. So if he wants to make the move, he's got to make it soon.
And speaking of making the move, here we go again, folks. Down the long, long pit straight. It's about a country mile from the last turn to the first turn. DRS open, overtake on for B-Dunk. He's going for it now. Saxman's taking to the middle of the track. Let's see. Is B-Dunk going to try and sell him the dummy? B-Dunk to the inside, late on the brakes. He's on it, he's on it, he's on it, turning in. Can he get the move done? I think Saxman's going to let him have that one. Saxman's going to try to come back at him now into the second straight here, but B-Dunk still got the DRS on him, so he will stay in the lead there now. Turn 4, let's see, late on the brakes for both drivers. Very similar tire compounds. Saxman may be conceding based on his little bump earlier, but I really doubt that was the issue. I think Saxman wants this as bad as anyone else would. Into the hairpin, let's see. B-Dunk locking that rear tire there, losing a lot of momentum. Into turn 10, let's see. Will our drivers overcook it here just a touch? Nope. Oh, but B-Dunk, big lockup there. Let's see now. Middle straight, as it were. Get that DRS nice and open. Can the black Mercedes catch up to the fashion car? That is the question at the moment, folks. That is the question. How's Double OT looking on those softs? Is he closing up to Radicus?
He's closing, but it's not as fast as he would wish. It only went... I haven't been watching the Delta, but he's 10.1 at the moment.
Yeah, he'd have to be, to quote Fernando Alonso, you put a rocket ship on that thing to get it to where it needs to be.
As you got Voj closing in on Chungus now, as Chungus is on 14-lap old hards. Voj, 8 laps on the hards. So very interesting to see different strategies playing out in this race tonight.
Oh, keep an eye, though. Saxman damn near on the gearbox of B-Dunk now into the second DRS zone. He's going to have the rear wing open here. B-Dunk moving to the right, back to the left-hand side, retaking the racing line. Both drivers keeping it steady through there into the S's now. Gap still about 4/10. There's 5 laps left. If I was Saxman, I think exactly what you said, Redeemer. I bet he is saving that battery for a lap 28, 27 lunge. Wouldn't you say so?
I would say so. He gets a little squirrely out of that turn 8. Both drivers locking up into turn 10. As Cal the Goat has now caught up to Unknown. So, very different battles going on here. You got Voj battling as Groggy's losing the rear of the car. He stays out of the barrier. Nicely done by Groggy. That's going to hurt his tires, though. So, he might come in, put on some softs.
This battle between Cal and Unknown Youth really starting to spice up here. Both Mercedes drivers under a lot of pressure at the moment. Saxman just trying to reclaim that gap while Cal really struggling to get the power underneath him and get things going here.
As Silk has gotten past botched gerbil into turn 4, I missed the move. But also Voj has gotten past Chungus.
Here we are, folks, down the pit straight. Unknown Youth, he's moving to the inside. Cal the Goat sending it up the outside with that Ferrari. Getting that Maranello muscle turned on. He will take P3 from Unknown Youth. That could be the move for the final podium spot here today, folks. Great driving by the Ferrari driver. Unknown Youth got to be thinking to himself, how can I come back at him? Here's having a look. Nothing really going there. Saxman and Cal continuing their duel of the fates. Saxman, though, still saving that battery. Gap staying there. Oh, it's dropping. Oh, and he's outside the second threshold. That could be crucial now. Only 4 laps to go. Unknown Youth still within that second window of Cal the Goat. The podium positions very airtight at the moment. I don't envy any of these drivers, so I'm being perfectly honest with you.
Ooh, Voj gets a little squirrely out of turn 10. On the power a little bit too soon, as both the Mercedes drivers, like you were saying, are both under pressure. So I think it's going to be B-Dunk. Unless Saxman can make a last lap move, it's going to be B-Dunk, Saxman, and then Cal the Goat in as your podium finishers. Unless Unknown can make a move coming back at Cal.
Well, down the pit straight, he's pretty far back at the moment. He's going to have the DRS. That battery is TOAST, folks. That Ferrari really is kind of sailing off to the distance now. He'll be well back in the DRS detection point into turn 3 here. Rather unfortunate. We'll see if he gets it. Nope. Not quite, it would seem. Burning his overtake there. Only 3 laps to go. Cal really just kind of thinking about managing that gap, not making any mistakes. That's kind of what would be my focus at the moment. But Saxman and B-Dunk right at the moment still like magnets. Can't seem to get away from each other.
Saxman and B-Dunk the last couple of corners is locked up his front tires, so I'm not sure if he's locking up or if it's Cody's lying to us. I've known that's an issue in the past as well, but Saxman's hanging in there with the DRS.
I would definitely say that B-Dunk is pushing that car as hard as he can. He's only got 3 laps to go, and every time he looks in his mirrors, he sees a black Mercedes. That's enough to make any mortals shake in their boots, even if you are the defending champion. Saxman, though, is throwing the gauntlet down. Gap only 5/10 here. Let's see. He's got less than 10% of that battery left for the overtake. DRS should be open. B-Dunk's still in front by quite a wide margin. Braking very late. Good not to lock up there. Saxman really trying to close up now. Careful to spin the wheels again. DRS is going to be open. B-Dunk just trying to take the racing line as smooth as he can. Break the slipstream ever so slightly there. Into the awkward right-hander before the S's. Let's see, folks. Gap's only 3/10. B-Dunk is losing a lot of pace here. That gap drops below 3/10. I would say this could be a very scintillating battle at the end. Unknown Youth, unfortunately, is sliding back through the order there, as you can see on the left-hand side. That is a 2-second gap to Cal. I would say Cal just needs to nurse the car home and not grind the tires to shreds. Radicus there, looks like he's trying to close up on Toto, and the rest of the field is pretty spread out at the moment. Overtake on the uphill portion, too. What do you think of the overtake feature, by the way, Redeemer? Are you a fan of it, or do you miss the old ERS?
I miss the old ERS, but I understand F1's trying to get into, or the game is trying to get into what F1 actually does with pressing and holding the overtake or pushing the overtake button. So I'm giving them props, but I just wish they brought back the old ERS. That way you can actually manage it yourself and etc.
Speaking of managing his ERS, Saxman's got nothing in the tank, but that gap is negligible at this stage. 2 laps to go, folks. B-Dunk leading Saxman by about a razor blade's length. Into turn 4. Both drivers late on the brakes. B-Dunk watching his mirrors like a hawk at the moment. Saxman only 3 lap older tires. Into the hairpin now. Taking a bit of a wider line. Oh, I think this could be it, folks. Keep an eye out for him. He is very much on the back of that Alpha Tauri. There's a DRS zone upcoming. I wouldn't be surprised if this is where the move is done. Good not to lock up. B-Dunk's really, really feeling the pressure now. Oh, a little bit of oversteer there for the Mercedes. That could be costly now. Less than 2 laps to go. He is throwing everything at B-Dunk. B-Dunk doing his darndest. Less than 20 corners to go for these 2 drivers. Saxman in that slipstream looking good. B-Dunk not going to do anything weird. Both drivers taking that nice wide entry into the final corner. Here you have it, folks. This is probably going to be Saxman's best opportunity to catch up here. Overtake his own. DRS is going to be open. Let's see. B-Dunk going to the middle of the track. He's in the slipstream. Saxman's closing up. B-Dunk not making any moves at the moment. It's inside, outside, inside, outside. He's going to go to the outside. Late on the brakes. B-Dunk's going to try to force him wide. He's going to get the switch back, get the power down, get the switch back again. Maybe no, but B-Dunk has stayed in front. Oh, and a snap of oversteer. Oh, no, Saxman. Oh, no, and that is it, folks. That is curtains for the Mercedes. Unless B-Dunk has some egregious mistake up his sleeve to make, I would say that will do it for us here from Bahrain. Redeemer, I am losing my voice.
It's been a wild race. I'll give them that. And Saxman and B-Dunk definitely showed us what they're capable of here in D1. As we have Voj now closing in on Unknown on the last lap. See if he can make any moves. Gonna be interesting to see. Six-lap difference coming into turns 9 and 10 now. As Voj has more ERS, I believe, than Unknown, which is good to see from Voj, but not so good from Unknown. As ERS is going on and off. Overtake, DRS was wide open, nothing doing there.
Yeah, Unknown really a bit of a sitting duck at the moment because there is still that crucial straight coming up here in just a corner. Unknown braking just a touch early. B-Dunk, there he is. As he crosses the line, he will be your winner. Saxman P2, a valiant effort for the Mercedes. But, folks, Voj, 1 corner to go. Unknown's going to go very defensive. He knows he has 1 move up his sleeve. Oh, late on the brakes. He's going to go off the circuit. Was that going to be a legal move, folks? I don't know. That might go to the stewards if he gained an advantage by leaving the circuit. But Voj loses it on penalties, unfortunately. Unknown will keep P4. Cal the Goat with a valiant P3 effort in that Ferrari. Saxman, another valiant effort. Congratulations to our winner. B-Dunk looking down the rest of the field. Looks like Chungus.
I don't know about you.
Final lap right now.
I'm putting my driver of the day vote to Groggy Oregano up 10 positions. But also Saxman in a close second with 7 positions gained off the start of the race. He finished second.
It would be a difficult vote for sure if I was a fan. I've got a ping on my Discord. What is going on? Oh, that's not PPR. We're good to go. Folks, what a race. Bahrain, it's always a corker. Redeemer, what do you think? So, yeah, you'd say Groggy Oregano driver of the day. I'd be hard-pressed to disagree. That is a valiant effort for anyone to come from that far behind, have a couple spins on the way home, and still have a solid points finish. That's got to make Mr. French Toast Friends Tossed happy. It's got to make everyone happy. Oh, and look, Codemasters, they agree with us as well.
Good Cody's can agree with us on one thing in this game.
Certainly, certainly. We go now to the podium. Congratulations to the 3 drivers up there. We got a Mercedes, a Ferrari, and an AlphaTauri. Yeah, hit that selfie, B-Dunk. Thank you all for coming out tonight. I am Best Teon, joined by LDR Redeemer. Redeemer, any closing thoughts, anything you'd like to sign off with before I close things up here?
I do not, sir. It is all on you.
Well, folks, there you have it. It's been an absolute pleasure to join you all this fine Tuesday night. We'll be back next week from, I believe it's Hanoi, which I'm very much looking forward to, as that was a great race in preseason. I am Best Teon. I'll run you through the order one more time. Your winner, B-Dunk, followed by Saxman, Cal the Goat, Unknown Oot, Voj, Chungus, Groggy Oregano, Toto Gaucho, Radicus, and Double OT. In your non-points paying positions, unfortunately, it is Reimer. Just not enough to get back into that top 10. Silk Weaver, Botch Gerbil. Your non-finishers will be Funky Cactus, Coutinho, Jay Lee Bowens, and Ed Torona. Folks, this has been PPR Esports. Thank you so much for joining us. And as